Hey guys, Chicago injury lawyer Scott DeSalvo here, and I hope the microphone sounds good. I've switched microphones. I've got like a different microphone setup now. Not that the microphones in the iPhone are bad; they're much better than they used to be. But I've purchased, a lapel mic and a shotgun mic, and it's just, hard to get a good setup. And then the tab that plugs into the phone on the lavalier mic broke, so I'm trying to give you guys good audio, because whenever I have really good audio in a video, people watch it longer, and I get people who say, oh my gosh, your audio is so good. So somebody praised me for it once, and now I'm in search for awesome audio again, but I digress. The topic of today's video is, what are the things I need to know about fall down cases, and specifically falls on ice and snow, right? So I'm going to tell you about that because it came up with a case I'm working on. I'm actually getting a case ready for trial, and a lot of the topics came up, and I talked to the client about a lot of these topics, and it reminds me that when I get calls from people who have falls or falls on ice and snow, they often don't know this stuff, and they, knowledge is power. The earlier on in a claim process you know this stuff, the more you can protect yourself, okay? So the first thing is, the number one misconception I get from people who fall, they will tell me that they fall and it is they fell on somebody else's property and therefore the property owner is responsible, or they fell on somebody else's property and therefore the property owner has to pay their medical bills. And that is not the law. It's never been the law, and it's just not the law. Now, certain properties have what are called medical payments coverage. It works the same way as medical payments coverage in a car accident, where you get hurt and, without a super detailed and litigious, fight over it, they're supposed to pay money just for your medical bills, not pain and suffering, not lost wages, just to help you pay your medical bills. Here's what I've learned over the last 25 years I've been doing this. It's becoming less and less common for property owners or renters to have insurance which includes medical payments coverage. And I think the reason why insurance companies do that has to do with the second thing. The second thing is that a lot of people who have fall on property, they think it's a slam dunk case. They think it's as easy as a rear-ender car accident, but it's really not. Falls on any property, whether it's on a work site, at a restaurant, at a store, or on somebody's property, they're complicated cases. In a car accident, all you have to prove is the other guy did something wrong, you got hurt, and your injuries are related to the car accident. That's literally it. In a fall down case in the state of Illinois and in most other states, each state has its own specific things you have to prove. But in Illinois, you have to prove in the simplest fall down case, you have to prove that the owner or manager of property did something wrong, what they did wrong caused your injury, that the thing that you tripped over was an unreasonably dangerous condition. I mean, without going too far into the weeds, there are 6 things you have to prove in a fall down case, and it gets more complicated from there. In a complicated fall down case, the jury instructions, which is a summary of the law of the case, it's a nightmare in a complicated fall down case, depending on how many defendants you sue and their relation to each other and how the accident happened. So fall down cases are at least twice as complicated as like a simple car crash case. And there's this thing called the jury verdict reporter, and there's also the settlement verdict reporter that a private company keeps that tracks verdicts and settlements and the types of cases and the facts and the types of injuries. And lawyers and insurance companies can use that database as a tool. Now, they charge you a bunch of money for a printout because it's a private for-profit company. But all you really need to know is on fall down cases, the defense outright wins, no money to the plaintiff at trial 5 out of 6 times. Those are the stats. So they're not easy cases to prove, they're not easy cases to win. And going back to my original point, I think insurance companies are not writing MedPay anymore because they know they can't, in most fall down cases, they can't get sued. They really just, you can't sue them for, if they don't pay you the MedPay, you got to find a lawyer willing to take the case all the way across the touchdown line, the field, the goal line. You got to score a touchdown to even get any of your medical bills paid. So that's the second misconception, that they're easy cases or they should settle quick. Sometimes I can settle them quick. I have a pretty good history of settling fall down cases quickly, but they never settle as quick as a car accident will. A lot of that has to do with how long your medical treatment is. The last thing I'll say about people's misconceptions about fall down cases is you really have to, a fall down case can become very complicated. So a lot of people think, well, I fell, I'll come to court, I'll just say what happened, or I don't need a lawyer, I don't need to talk to a lawyer, they want to take a statement of what happened, I'll tell them what happened. No, it's really true that when you're in an injury, you want to tell your story. The problem is, in a fall down case, there are a million different rules and sub-rules in a fall down case that if you answer a question the wrong way, it can kill your case. Okay, so for example, let's say you fell on some height difference. Okay, some height difference made you trip on someone's property. Well, in Illinois, you need a defect to be somewhere between 2 and 3 inches tall at least, and if it's less than that, it's called the de minimis rule, and a judge will throw out your case. Okay, another thing to do is another thing is whether the defect is open and obvious and whether you were momentarily distracted. My point is, I can't possibly give you a complete seminar on fall down cases here, but giving a recorded statement just to get to tell them your story because you think that they're just going to give you money if you give them a recorded statement, I will tell you, it never happens these days. They're taking a recorded statement in a fall down case to catch you in a trap, and then after that point, most lawyers are not going to be interested in your case if you gave a recorded statement under oath without representation by an attorney, because chances are you really hurt your case. And even if a lawyer does take your case, a lot of times the insurance companies do not want to give a copy of the statement, and you have to file a lawsuit, then you get the statement, and then you see that the adjuster tricked the injured person and got them to say something that really it isn't what they meant. They were under pressure, they felt like they had to give an answer, and I see that happen all the time. People are focused on, worried about their medical bills, focused on their injury and all these sorts of things, but then they get into a statement, and these questions are a little tricky, and they just give answers off the top of their head, and it ends up hurting their case. So I would say the third thing is, being nice and cooperating in a fall down case. Insurance companies just don't want to settle these cases unless they absolutely have to. And they have to when they're afraid of, what might happen if they don't. And that means you need somebody to help you build a strong case. So, those are the things, I would say those are the 3 most common misconceptions on fall down cases. I would say the last one, number 4, would be that if you fall on somebody's property and they didn't shovel or they didn't put down rock salt, then you got an open and shut case. You got a home run, you're going to win. Okay? Not true. There's no duty to shovel or put down rock salt in Illinois. No duty. If you file a lawsuit saying, I'm suing them because they didn't shovel, you lose. Now, there's ways around that. One way around it is if there's a problem that's causing an unnatural accumulation. Another is if the snow was shoveled and it melted and it created a puddle or something like that. That's a possibility. Another is if something is dripping, causing a puddle under the snow, and it was the patch of ice that caused you to fall. You can see my point. These get real complicated real quick, and that's why when I handle these cases, I collect a bunch of information from the injured person, and a lot of them get frustrated with me. You know, a lot of them will be like, why are you, like, want all these details? Like, I told you I fell down, and it wasn't my fault, and, you know, I broke my leg. I'm like, I'm sorry if I'm being too much of a lawyer here, but I need these details to anticipate the later case complexity, because my job as a lawyer is to win your case for you. My job is to take the case, make it as strong as I can, and that means, you know, managing it right from the beginning, and that's really the most valuable thing an injury lawyer can do for you. Make your case as strong as possible, as early as possible, and help you avoid mistakes that can beat your case outright, and that means no money for you. Okay? So I hope this information helps you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you and your family are well. If you or a loved one has fallen or has been injured at work or car accident, whatever it is, any kind of injury, you can always reach me anytime, day or night, 312-500-4500. That's 312-500-4500. I've got really good calculators on my website. I'll leave the link in my description. One is called the Case Cash Calculator. It tells you what your case might be worth. Completely free, takes 15 seconds to do. I also have the Do I Have a Good Case Calculator. It tells you whether you might have a good case or a rough one. Same thing, takes 10 or 15 seconds to do, completely free, and you get an answer. You get some idea about the strength or weakness of your case. Finally, if you enjoy my videos and you want to help me out, it would really help me out. It takes you 5 seconds to do, but it's invaluable for me. It helps me out so much. If you wouldn't mind giving me a 5-star review on Google, I'd really appreciate it. I'll leave the link in the description. You just go to that location, click 5 stars, say a kind word, hit submit, 5 seconds. Easy peasy, 1, 2, 3 easy. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope everything in your life is good, but if it isn't, and you need some advice or some questions answered, give me a holler. Thanks so much. Take care.